All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the show tonight. We have a guest, as I stated before. It is the Angryman. Now, as you look at the title, we're going to speak tonight about black men leading our community and sucker type males, because we have a lot of that going on. As for people that live in Houston, Texas, be careful. Glanville, yes, I know you live in Houston. I don't know exactly where you're at, but be careful. Please be careful. Yes, in Dallas, I know you're pretty good. So, Angryman, the reason why I let everybody know why I asked him to come on today, I did check out his channel for a while, and he gave a lot of good information to a lot of the brothers to help them out. And also, I've been seeing something recent he's been dealing with, and I'm definitely going to ask him about that as well, because I dealt with the same issue a few months ago. But aside from that, Angryman, let people know who you are and kind of why you came to YouTube.
Okay, well, first let me say I appreciate you having me on the show, Phil. Shout out to your whole audience. Shout out to the whole Angryman army. I see some of y'all in the chat room. Part of the reason I came to YouTube, I see a lot of issues that go on with men and in this day and age. And, at first I was writing articles for Voice for Men. I actually used to participate in their, Honey Badger Radio. They used to have like some sort of blog talk radio shows. And sometimes when I would talk about things that were specific to black men, I would notice a little bit of resistance. It would be more like, well, this is about all men, which is cool for their, platform and their channel and stuff. But there are some things that there's some issues that always end up being specific to black men. So I wanted to address those issues and talk about those different topics. So, at one point there were a couple of articles that I wanted to publish on A Voice for Men, and they basically declined them. And, instead of being angry about it and being upset about them not, posting my content on their platform, I said, you know what, I'll just create my own platform. So from there, I basically started, I already had a channel from a couple years back, but it just was sitting. It didn't have any content on it. I think I had one video on there, which was a movie review or something like that. And so I kind of just picked it up and started speaking about, certain topics that are more specific to black men.
All right. So once you start doing that and getting that news and information out there for black men, what was the overall response from people that were listening?
Oh, I got a huge response from men that actually could identify with what I was talking about. In addition to that, I got a few haters. But unfortunately, the reason why I got those haters is because of another prominent YouTuber. I won't say his name, but
Thank you.
he's kind of like the lightning rod for, all foolishness in reference to black men. So, I had a lot of people that were saying, oh, you're trying to be like him, or, different things of that nature. But for the most part, I've gotten a warm reception from men on YouTube and quite a few women. So.
Yeah, well, I noticed that, believe it or not, there are women out there that like to hear that type of conversation, because not all women want to hear that love and hip hop type of, crowd and information. We get that inundated from them folks every single day. But when you talked about those articles, what was the top 3 topics that you were really hitting home with the fellas?
It would have to be, one would have to be unity, because men in general, black men specifically, are never united on anything. Black men have a big man complex where, you and I are on YouTube, you have your platform, I have my platform. Most of the time, black men feel like, well, I got to be the top dude. They don't feel like there's room for more than one person. Like they want to be Superman, but they don't believe in the Justice League. They think that they have to have the spotlight. They can't share the spotlight. So that's one of the issues, which leads into a whole bunch of other issues. Another issue that I spoke about was black men taking a little more responsibility with the type of women they deal with, the type of women that they have children with, things of that nature. But I would say those would be the two biggest things that I talked about.
So you said that the women, I'm glad you mentioned that, taking responsibility. Why do you feel a lot of guys don't take responsibility for the women they fool with?
Well, it's a matter of not going through the courting process. You have guys out here that they may have a relationship with a woman that they've been with for a while, and whether married or not, that relationship may result in children, you know, and when that relationship fails, they'll get into a relationship with a new woman, which there's nothing wrong with that. But before you know it, they'll have children with that woman. And, the thing is, you don't have to have children with every woman you're in a relationship with. That's one of the things I try my best to point out with brothers, because I notice, like, I'll have brothers hit me up for advice and they'll break down the situation to me. And it's sad because I'll let them know, like, yo, you shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place, because you gotta value yourself more than that. You know what I'm saying? To think that you're just supposed to be here for that purpose, for a woman to have children by you. And then before you know it, you have this huge headache because you have to deal with three different women because you have children by three different women. And all three of them have a strong connection with you. So all three of them feel like you should be in a relationship with them. So it's something you can never really fix. It's always going to be drama involved in that situation.
Yeah, and one thing I tell guys as well, they don't realize when you're having all these children, you are just setting yourself up for financial ruin.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Because when they put them folks in your life, and you know them folks we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to get bogged down with each child. And if you can't pay it, you know where they're going to put you.
Yeah.
And I don't understand these dudes. I say, man, look, if y'all want to be out there hot dicking, go ahead and do it. But don't make children.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's stupid. I always told people this, man. If that female not worth your last name, then she's not worth having your kid.
True.
And most dudes are not trying to marry every female they meet, right? So that would cover you from not getting in that kind of problem. But it's not only just with women, but also I know that some brothers don't want to take responsibility on their finances and their level of success either.
Mm.
And then you want to attack another brother when he's trying to take care of his situation.
Oh, yeah.
So why is it that we see brothers doing that?
You know what? I've been dealing with that lately, and which is something I do not understand. I think it goes back to slavery, honestly. As much as I try not to use slavery as an excuse for anything, I feel like we just have this programming in this country where we feel like black men shouldn't be compensated for what they do or for their time. So you'll have brothers that will talk crazy to other brothers because they're trying to maintain financially or they're trying to get on a different level financially. And it goes even deeper because brothers take it a step further. Like they'll go, it's the whole, white folks ice is colder. You know what I'm saying? That's that sort of thing. So it's like, I don't understand it because if you can support businesses, by and large, and let's face it, black people support a lot of businesses. We spend $1.4 trillion a year as consumers, but very little, if any, of that money is circulating in the black community. And most will say, well, there's not a lot of black businesses. I'm sure at some point you've come across a black business that was worth your dollar, but for some reason it's especially evident with brothers. Now, I'm not going to say it's the same thing with women. I ain't gonna say it's the same thing with sisters. With sisters, I've noticed that if they see something they believe in, they'll support it. They'll support it monetarily. They don't have no problem pooling their resources. But with brothers, it's like pulling teeth. And I've never understood that. Currently there are numerous brothers like such as yourself who are on YouTube who have actually taken the opportunity to create a media source so that men, black men specifically, can have a platform. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you support that more than anything if you don't like the way the mainstream media portrays black men and you don't like the narrative that they constantly put out? Part of the reason is because we're not part of that process. So now that we have the ability to be part of that process, why wouldn't you support that? That's something that I don't understand. Like, I've even seen that in businesses that I've had before I even started YouTube, with different service businesses.
Right. And recently, ladies and gentlemen, and I can relate to what he's just recently dealing with on his channel. I saw a video where he was speaking about, hey, listen, the YouTube revenue is cutting him just as much as it's cutting me. Okay. And the man asked his audience that, listen, I think the information was good. And if you want to watch it, then it's $2.99 or $1.99 or whatever the price point he set. And I'm gonna let him tell you, the same people that was cheering you on, what did they end up telling you in the end when you did that?
Oh my God. This is the funny thing about it, Phil. I didn't even, okay, so on the 18th of this past month, I saw a bunch of my videos where I was like, you know what? These videos are giving away a lot of information, a lot of valuable information. And with everything that's going on with YouTube, the ad apocalypse, the demonetizing videos, I said, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna charge for some of these videos. I'm gonna put a $2.99 price point on it. And I didn't see a problem with that because, there were a couple of other YouTubers that do the same thing. In fact, that's the entire purpose that YouTube rolled out that particular feature, including the super chat feature, is to compensate creators who are catching it on the other end when it comes to the AdSense revenue. So what I did, I put a few of my videos at a price point of $2.99. Now, there's still a bunch of videos that's free. Anybody could watch for free. But that same day, and I had no idea that they had went in the comment section. And later on that night, another YouTuber did a video about it, pointing it out. And I saw the video and I said, what? I said, that sounds like he's talking about my channel. So I went to the particular video that I had made $2.99 and looked under the comment section. And there were a bunch of brothers in the comment section. There was no women. Let me just say that, because that I found interesting. Not a
Oh,
not a
I know.
single not a single woman said anything, but all of the dudes. There were at least 3 or 4 dudes. They were like, one dude said, "Oh, you're charging now. I can't rock with that. I'm out." Another guy was like, "Yo, I like your channel. I appreciate the knowledge you gave me, but I'm about to be out." So I said, wow. But you know what? It didn't bother me because the same people, I know who my supporters are, who are really down for the cause, because every month I give away a prize, to one particular subscriber. And I have to go through the list every month of people who donate to me. So the guys that were saying this, they're guys that don't donate anyway.
Yeah.
They just come there for free. So it really didn't bother me that they were saying that, because they weren't going to pay anyway. I just found it interesting that they had to make it a point to tell everybody that they weren't going to pay. So It's interesting. It's real interesting.
Yeah, well, look, my situation, like when months ago when that first happened with me, and that's why I can relate to what you were dealing with. It happened to me more on a grander scale because I said, listen, we need to try to raise an X amount of Patreons, and I'm thinking I'm getting so pumped up every day. All these black folks so called love me to put out information talking about racism, so surely they would support me on this endeavor, right? Well, then when that happened, man, same thing. Man, I ain't giving you no $5. I ain't making you rich. Then when I had said, well, listen, if we don't get a certain amount, we can shut the platform down for 7 days. People on Patreon say, yeah, do it. Now, I was making videos the whole time, but the people on Patreon and the people on PayPal, they was getting the links to the videos that I was making. They were making video after video after video. Dudes, I didn't even know. I had no issue with. I mean, content creators making videos about me. I say, what the hell that's about? Then as I listened to their videos, one of them in particular was just pissed off because I didn't have him on my show. Like you being here today, I didn't have him there. So he was kind of pissed off and like, oh, I'm glad that's happening to you. And I'm like, this is the problem with black men right there.
Yeah.
And that attitude translates into our family life, translates into the leadership in the community. We want to destroy each other and happy when each other go down, or at least they think you went down. Okay,
yeah.
And that's the issue. And so it made me to look and reassess everything that I was doing at the time period. But I appreciate them because it showed me a few things. Who the true supporters were. It helps me to open up and diversify some things I was doing. And also, as I've been meeting people in the street, and I say people, it's been people of all groups coming up to me saying, man, I love what you do. And I'm sitting up there thinking, I'm saying, wait a minute. Most of my videos I'm making are trying to speak for the black community.
Yeah.
And yet I'm having Asian people come up to me and Hispanic people and white people, all these different people. And then I look back and say, wait a minute, I put my neck on the line. They threatening my life, threatening my family's life, sending me pictures, photoshopped of me being lynched and all this other stuff. And then when I ask y'all for something at that time period, not now, at that time period, and that's the way you gonna act, I say, man, forget that. And so I learned that I will keep speaking my message, but I'm only gonna focus on my supporters too, whoever they may be. And I say supporters, it has nothing to do with a group of people, the supporters that appreciate, the message. Because like you said, when I researched those same people that was complaining, they didn't donate not even $1.
Yeah.
So why are you mad? I would get it if you was donating and then I didn't do something.
Yeah.
That would be one thing. But, as men, as black men especially, we just got too much jealousy going on.
Oh yeah. It's a sickness. Like I've done videos talking about this recently, and I've literally sat there and looked at the comment section while I was talking about the videos and while I was talking about the subject, and it's amazing what dudes will say. Now, this is not something that goes on in white YouTube. It's almost like their subscribers and fans, they just know, well, I like this person, I'm gonna show my support, I'm gonna donate, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that, and they grow. And like I said last week, I said I'm not too upset about it because technically all of us black men that are on YouTube right now doing what we're doing, we're basically trying to pioneer a new way of thinking, because they're not used to, like, there are brothers that came before us. They were not focused. They weren't as business minded. They just pretty much wanted a platform to speak and voice their opinion. And that's what they did. But they weren't looking at it from the business aspect of it. I kind of liken it to the hip hop industry, where you had individuals who came into hip hop and they got raped for their money and all of that. And then you had a new wave of guys who came in who were a little more business minded. And they said, well, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna make sure that we have our ducks in a row.
Right. Well, we have to do that because as black men, we understand that the work world isn't for us, and the only freedom that we have is business.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of going to some school, spending $100,000 on an education, then you see some ignorant backwoods Klansman that have no education that say he got a high IQ, which is so funny, get a job over you with no education, and yet you spend all this money, you in debt, and you can't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Or that same one come in, you train him, and now he your supervisor in 6 months.
Yeah.
That is a humiliating thing for a lot of black men.
Oh,
And so we sick of it. So it's like, why can't we create business and do things for ourselves? I don't see nothing wrong with doing for self.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing of platforms like YouTube. Like the first time, let's see, I think it was probably towards the end of last year was the first time I actually came across your channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the channel. I said, "Oh man, this dude has his whole thing set up like a news broadcasting thing." I said, "That's awesome." And I thought about it. I was like, "This is really giving black men the opportunity, to do certain things that we were not able to do before." And when I see brothers doing that, I say, "Okay, that's a good thing. That's cool." And watching it continue to grow is even better. But it just amazes me that there are people on YouTube who, if they like starting out, they'll like you. They'll say, "Oh man, that's cool," or whatever. But if they see that you have a certain amount of subscribers, or you have a certain amount of growth, or you have a certain amount of people donating in the Patreon, it's almost like they just get this jealousy in them. And they want to like, "Oh, he's coming up. Now it's time to hate on him." It's almost like it's automatic, and it's sad.
Right. I mean, it's like when they say about me, like they don't say the things, for instance, they'll say about the Caucasian YouTubers. Like for me, when they're attacking me, "Oh, well, his subscribers, they ain't real." Like, so how would I even manage with a 90% reduction and my subscribers aren't real? Well, and then most of the time when people talk, they don't know the inner workings of YouTube, how it works with subscriptions versus actual viewers.
Yeah.
They don't know anything most of the time that's talking. That's why I don't really entertain them too much.
Yeah.
Because it's like they just coming there to troll. But a lot of black men, we have to always fight against other brothers.
Yeah.
And we trying to do things sometimes for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Brother, I'm trying to help you." And like just one of them made a comment saying, "Oh, so y'all giving out info and people gotta buy it." Dr. Francis Cress Welsing wrote a book. Do you gotta buy that? I'm just talking about black people. Malcolm X got a book. Did you have to buy that? You always gotta buy information in books. You get more for free actually watching us. And a few times that Angryman may ask you to support him or myself, and it's a problem. I'm talking about for those who have an issue with it. We're talking about the men, because I have some great people. They coming by every day. Thank you for the help. Trust me, we appreciate that. But that translates, like I say, into real life situations. And then you talk about dating. Then you talk about children, blended families, etc. Because a lot of us as black men, we don't have a lot of self-esteem about ourselves.
No, we don't.
And why don't we have high self-esteem?
Well, because of all of the issues that we had to and continue to deal with in this country, because of the history of this country. And I've said on many occasions, I believe that, black people in general need to get therapy, for everything that we deal with in this country, just to be able to cope with our everyday life and come to grips with certain things. Like, I'll give you a prime example. Somebody, because of the fight that happened last night and Mayweather winning and beating Conor McGregor, I seen a bunch of pro-blacks putting posts on Instagram. And one of the posts that they put on Instagram, they said that white people wanted to see a real life version of Drago fighting Creed. And I'm like, man, that's a bit of a stretch, man. Like that's like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Sometimes I could entertain certain stuff, but sometimes I'd be like, man, that's your insecurity speaking. That's something that is deep seated in you. Like if I view things a certain way, I wouldn't be able to conduct business well. And we saw that recently with the whole Shea moisture situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now here you have this brother. Now he rolled out one of the commercials, you know. One of the commercials, true indeed, had white girls on it. It had a girl that was, you know, a little bit fair skinned, that was black. She could be considered biracial. But he had other, that was one in a series of commercials. So there was going to be darker sisters on there. But they got mad at the brother. And it's like, okay, we understand why you're getting upset with the brother. But you also have to understand when it comes to business, this brother's trying to reach a wider market so that he can make more profits. Because at the end of the day, business is going to boil down to your bottom line. It's just like right now. Like right now, there are certain topics that I want to talk about on my channel that are topics I find cool, you know? And, you know, it has to do with geek culture. It has to do with, you know, anime, Star Wars, things of that nature. Now, if I start to talk about those things, I could very easily alienate the majority of my audience if I go too left on certain subjects, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I've looked at it like, okay, well, you know what? I need to be a little more conscious about what I'm saying and how I'm presenting it because, you know, there's a lot of people who are going to sit back and when you start to expand and reach a larger audience, the first thing that's going to come out of their mouth is you're a coon, you're a sellout, all of these different things. But I've told people numerous times, if you want a brother to be straight militant, straight hardcore pro black, you have to support that. A lot of times, the reasons why these brothers have to expand into other markets is because they can't survive being supported solely by the black community because the black community does not want to support them. You look at all of these brothers who did tremendous work for the black community, most of them died broke and in bad shape. And that's sad. You know, you got Khalid Muhammad, Dr. Ben Yakinen, like all of these dudes. You even got black entertainers like Red Fox that died broke. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's 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 pathetic in my personal opinion because black
Well,
people could support each other if they really wanted to.
see, black people unfortunately got it wrong. I
Mhm.
believe in, yes, creating business that is black owned, but
Mhm.
doesn't mean the consumers are only black.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yes, because it's black owned, then you're gonna look out a little bit more at times. You know what's going on in the community. You'll try to help some brothers and sisters coming out of jail because black owned businesses hire more people out of jail than any other business.
Mhm.
Fine, so, hire our kids, but it doesn't mean the consumers are only black. That doesn't make sense because the Jewish people, they don't just say they don't sell it to Jews. White
Mhm.
people don't say I'm only selling to whites. Asians don't say I'm only selling to Asians and I don't want nobody else. They take everybody money. So why are we the only group to say, oh, you a sellout because you're trying to sell products or do a service or whatever for another group of people? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, the funny thing is, the funny thing about that is, if those other groups didn't want to sell to black people, they wouldn't make any money because we're the biggest consumers.
Right.
You know, that's the funniest thing. And it's like you can start a business and say, this is a black owned business. This is a traditionally black business. You can hire black people for those high ranking positions, but that has nothing to do with the consumer. Your consumer should be everyone. That's good business, you know?
Mm-hmm. And you don't have to sell out yourself or
No,
whatever to get other business.
no, you don't.
I
You
mean,
don't.
I mean, and I think they equate that with, you know, if I sell to other people, then obviously you're a sellout, because you look at companies like Nike and you look at all these other companies, and this is the one issue too we have. If you do establish that business, just because they see your face on it, is a lot of black folks not going to want to shop with you or use your goods and services.
Yeah.
And like, but you run over there to Nike, you run over there to all these different companies that invest in private prisons,
Mm-hmm.
you know, continuing your slavery. But and I don't understand, you know, I don't know if you preach this, but any black man is in line for some Jordans, especially if you over 25. You need to be beat with a wet rope. It's just my opinion.
Oh man, I feel you on that.
Some recycled shoes. That's our problem as brothers. Recycled shoes from when I was a kid and when you was a kid, when the shoes first came out, when Jordan was actually playing. These cats have never even seen Jordan play except some highlights.
Yeah.
Yet they got the shoes on.
I'm still trying to figure out how he mastered that marketing, because they're paying twice as much for, you know, in the black community, when something gets old, it loses value.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out how he figured that out. But he got cats buying shoes that came out back in the day for twice the price we paid for it. So yeah. I don't know how he did that.
I remember the first pair of Jordans when I was a kid that we got around income tax time, because poor people could only get something around income tax time. It was $110. Never forget it. And they're like, oh my God, that was expensive. Now these cats are paying for shoes like LeBron James and stuff over $200.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
yeah,
and you'll go the next month and buy it again.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually never owned a pair of Jordans ever. Cause like when I was younger, I couldn't, you know, my spending limit for a pair of sneakers was $80. And I wore those sneakers the whole year. You know, pretty much wore them sneakers until they wore out. Now I have 3 sons. I have one son who is really materialistic. Now I've bought him a pair of Jordans before, but trust and believe, I made his ass work for them Jordans. But yeah, I don't agree with that. I think it's crazy that guys will stand in line every time a pair drops. Every single time a pair drops, they'll stand in line just to get them. But you'll see, you know, black businesses, and you'll be like, man, I ain't spending no money with them Negroes. You know how they do.
Mm-hmm. I know, or some of them that you talking about standing in line for them Jordans.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them don't even have a job, bruh. I seen them I never get that video right here in Houston at Greenspoint Mall. You had them standing in line for Jordans. Mm-hmm. Then one of them want to lick the bottom of the shoe. Then he go on the bus. Like, oh my God. So you gonna spend all the money on Jordans, don't even have a car? Like, why don't you stand in line with a job application and a resume, brother?
Yeah, it's priorities. It's priorities. Like, you know, brothers, it's just like, it's messed up, but it's just like, who was it? Woody Harrelson on that movie, White Men Can't Jump. He told Wesley Snipes, he said, black men want to look good first and win second. And you know, as time has gone by, I found that to be true in a lot of cases. Black men would rather look good first and then worry about winning second, instead of winning first and looking like that. I actually was watching a television show that's produced by Jerry Seinfeld, where he kind of interviews other comedians. And one of the episodes, he actually was interviewing Larry David, who helped him create Seinfeld. Now, the two of them had went to this diner. You know, it's a little regular diner or whatever, and they're sitting at the table eating. And it wasn't no extravagant diner. It's just a diner anybody could go to. They had on regular clothes. They didn't have on nothing fancy, nothing flashy. And I thought to myself, here you have two men who collectively are worth over $1 billion, almost $2 billion, because I think at the time both of their net worth was around 800-900 million. Mm-hmm. Here you have two Jewish men with regular clothes on at a regular diner eating regular food. Ain't nobody got no bling bling on. Ain't nobody got nothing flashy. They don't got no Lamborghini parked outside. but collectively, they basically command wealth. And it made me think about it. I said, you know what? It's all about priorities. That's all it really boils down to with black folks. It's all about priorities. We just have backwards priorities.
Right. And you know, because we have just collectively, not as black men, but we collectively have a low self-esteem about ourselves. We try to replace that with materialism. And you know, with materialism, once you buy something, you get a natural high.
Yeah.
But that natural high doesn't last very long, and you have to keep buying it over and over and over. And of course, you know, the video, which I will get to that too, because everybody told me over a month ago, The Secret to Selling to the Negro, that 1950s video. I've seen it where they pegged black people very well on how we buy the nicest brands. We want to show off to other black people. And you know that's how it is.
Yeah.
You want to go show out to other black people when you buy something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a little, I'm a little different. Like with me, I have to feel comfortable. Meaning the only way I can feel comfortable is if I have some money in the bank. That's the only way I can feel comfortable. Like as long as I've got some money in the bank and, I can go out and buy me a sandwich when I need it, I'm good. Because I've never really been one of those people that have to, like, if I wanted to, I could buy every pair of Jordans when they come out every month, but I'm just not gonna do it. Like I finally forced myself to buy a pair of sneakers that I wanted. There's this one pair of sneakers I seen. They're a pair of Air Max, and I've been wanting them for a while. And I'll walk when I'm in the mall with my lady. I'll walk past there and I'll see them and I'll stop and I'll stand there and look at them for a while. And she'll be like, "Why don't you get them?" And I'll be like, "I don't know. I might get them." And then I finally bought them. I haven't worn them yet because I've never really been a super materialistic guy. With me, it's more about being able to not be in dire straits and being able to be comfortable. And if some emergency pops up, I think I learned that from my grandmother. She taught me that you always got to keep some money just in case an emergency pops up, because when you have money, that's when stuff don't really happen like that. But when you don't have money, that's when everything happens. Everything happens when you broke,
Yeah, my grandfather, he definitely preached the same message. He used to tell me, because he didn't believe in banks. So he was like, look, let me show you something. So he had a cabinet way on the top in the kitchen. He had a lock on it. And he the only one had the key. He said, look, you need to get you one of these when you become a man. And he said, look, I got my money in here. I got my pistol in here. I got all my important documents. Because anytime something broke in the house, no matter how expensive it was or whatever, if a car went down, whatever, it never was down. It was always, okay, he go over there with them keys, get that money out, pay it. And then I was like, man, how much money he actually have up there? I just never, because I've never seen him run out of nothing. But he always kept his money. He never spent a lot of money, and I'm like that. Like, but the difference with me, and my wife put me up on a lot on this game here. I believe in sales and coupons.
Oh yeah,
I believe in it. I refuse to buy something for a price.
Oh yeah, my lady is actually, well, I started with her, but she still does it. I don't really do it that much because I'm so busy with my channel and everything. But my lady is a extreme couponer.
Oh yeah, my wife does the same thing.
Oh, for real? Yeah, like,
yeah.
So
I had to build we had to put all kind of shelves in the garage.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I got I got detergent and all types of stuff, like just stockpiled. But yeah, man. But the older folks were like that. They instilled that in their children for the most part, to always save for a rainy day. And that's something that I picked up from my grandmother because I was with her most of the time. And my father was, oh my God, my father was really tight with money. I had never seen a dude that was that tight with money. My father, if he went to a dealership to purchase a car, if they did not sell him that car for the price he wanted it, he would walk out the door.
Smart man.
He would walk out the door immediately. So yeah, I picked up a lot of that from them.
Yeah, negotiate. And that's a skill every man needs to have, is a skill to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm the same way. Wait a minute. I know I can get this car at the price point I want and the interest rate I want.
Mm-hmm.
And, living in the city, in the area like Houston, there's so many people selling cars. So I'll come in there and I will say, look, I want this car for this interest rate. Can you do it? Well, let me see and if you can't do it, don't worry about it. I'm leaving. It's just like that.
Yep.
I'm not going to play games with you. Don't keep me here all day if I don't get the interest rate I want.
Yep. And
and that's the problem with us. Just as our community, we so used to just taking whatever people give us and being just, I should be happy with it. No. Negotiate. Tell people what you want. They'll treat. My sister, prime example. She didn't have a car. I told her, I said, this is what you go do. Go over here and tell these people I'm not paying no more than this price, and can you match it? And I want this interest rate. Them folks were trying to talk with her. I told her exactly how to talk to them people. She walked up out of there with a brand new car, exactly underneath what she wanted. She said, I never did that before. I said, I handle them people. I don't let them people talk to me any kind of way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm spending money. You working for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's simple. And, I know they want to call a black man like that. Oh, he's uppity. If you, like I said, at the end of the day, I got to pay that bill.
Oh, yeah. Every month on time. And
every month on time.
And see, that's the other thing that brothers really need to start focusing on. That's getting their credit in order.
Yes, sir.
That's a big thing right there. That's a big thing.
It's sad. It's sad when you have comedians joking, saying that we have bad credit. That's not funny. And especially you as a man, you are the one that's supposed to take care of the house and be in the leadership, because I know a lot of times in our community we have a screwed up leadership problem. Yeah. But in order for you to do that, you shouldn't be asking no woman to get you a cell phone. You shouldn't be asking no woman to sign for you a car. As a grown man. You have guys, and that's why, look, if I was a woman and if I'm getting you a car and I'm providing for you like your mama, why would I respect you? I wouldn't let you lead me either. But see, you gonna lead me to?
But see, you know what? A lot of guys, they don't get the fact that when you go somewhere and you get something with your credit and you sign your name, you're basically that's your good name. You're basically saying that you're a man of your word and you're going to do such and such. So when you don't do it, of course you're gonna have the backlash of your credit and everything. But at the same time, you basically showed those people that you're not a man of your word. That's how it was broke down to me by my uncle. He said, if you go and you sign and somebody is willing to give you something where you sign your name on the dotted line, they're basically saying they trust that you're going to pay for it,
Yeah. And also not having no credit is just as bad as bad credit.
Oh, yeah.
You have nothing on paper to say that you can be trusted with something. I mean, it's so many things that us in the black community, we just so far behind on. And when it definitely comes to finance. And once I learned, like I said, I was in one relationship where, it's my money and and I tell anybody, if you're in a relationship with a woman, she start that crap, run. Because when I got involved with my wife, I said, look, I'm not doing that my money, your money stuff. We putting our money in one pot. We go look at everything, pay the bills, and then we'll go from there, because we're not going to have them problems. And she was like, oh, yeah, I'm not. And trust me, I've always had a better situation financially with my wife than when I had my ex one.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Because money break up relationships so quick.
Oh, yeah. That's the first thing usually. That's usually the first thing that breaks up relationships.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir, for sure. Now, when men, brothers, have certain criticisms, because I've been reading this chat room and they've been having a long conversation about you. So
okay,
I'm gonna ask some just legitimate questions.
All right.
I know you pay attention to things that's going on in the area of dating within our community,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people saying that you're very harsh on women. Now, could you explain why they would say you're harsh, or what are you actually saying they take as harsh, maybe in the wrong way?
Because I am harsh. I'm real harsh. I'm harshly critical on women as far as like a lot of the behavior I see nowadays with black women. But what they won't say is I'm just as harsh with the brothers. But the difference is the brothers don't take it as personal. You know, the ladies take it as personal because they don't like to be criticized. Point blank. Period. They don't like to feel. See, we live in a day and time now where black women do certain things. A lot of black women, not all of them, but there are a lot of black women who do certain things a certain way, and it's not the proper way to do things. And instead of being told that they shouldn't do that, you have an entire industry that celebrates them doing that. You know, you have like recently the movie Girl Trip came out with Queen Latifah and Jada Pinkett Smith. And this is basically a trip where all of the women are presenting themselves in a very distasteful way on screen for the whole world to see. And it became one of the most popular movies. And I said, why is this popular? Why they basically are going on a trip. One of the females is not really a wild type. Jada Pinkett Smith's character, she's not the wild type, but the rest of them are trying to get her to cut loose. And you know, there's all sorts of things going on in that video. So there's a lot of times, you know, nowadays it's just like, in fact, one of the characters on that movie, I forget her name. She was also on Barbershop. She was on the last Barbershop movie. And she said it herself. She said there's a war going on between the hoes and ladies, and the hoes are winning. That's what she said. And I can't even disagree, because nowadays look at everything that is put out here for young girls to look up to. You got Love and Hip Hop, you got Basketball Wives, you got the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Most of them ain't even housewives. You got now they coming out with a show. I think they're supposed to be coming out with a show, the Side Chicks of Charlotte. You know, you have all of these examples of women fighting, cutting up, acting a fool. Where are the examples that I grew up with? Like where are the Claire Huxtables? Where are the Florida Evans? Where are these examples at? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm very critical, but I always make it a point to let these ladies know, the ladies who I'm talking about, you know who you are. The ladies who, because you know, I've had to make it a point to point out the fact that when I had my Blog Talk Radio show, my co-host was a black woman, Char Willie. You know, when I have my channel, women come over to my channel. They're in the comment section. They're in the chat room. They're allowed to chat and comment. I'm not disrespectful to them. You know, I only ask that they be respectful to me and the other men, and will be respectful for them to them. There's even times that I've had to check certain dudes because they would get out of hand on my channel. You know, so like I said, it's the lightning rod. And you know the dude I'm talking about. He has a habit of making it a point to let everybody know that he does not like black women, that he hates black women. So whenever he does that, if you've been put in the category with him, they're gonna say, "Oh, you're the same way as that dude," you know.
Well, you know, like for me, I always look at I was listening to all the examples that you was giving, and
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to all the puzzles being connected together, and everything that you had described to me was basically behaviors, and you know, even if they fictitious characters or
Mm-hmm.
they are reality chicks, the white man is actually behind all that imagery to show a propaganda about black women to get us to actually hate each other, because those shows aren't produced by black people. You say, oh, well, Love and Hip Hop. No, Viacom owns that.
Oh, definitely,
So
definitely.
they are the ones that's pushing that, because you talk about where is Florida Evans and where is Claire Huxtable. It's not really to their best interest to keep the black family together.
Of
So they're
course
not
not.
going to show you a Claire Huxtable. They're not going to show you a Florida Evans, because they make more money in our dysfunction than us being together.
Of
Because you
course,
talk about that 1.4 trillion, how you think they got it?
of course.
From us.
But see, here's where the problem comes in, and this is why I have a problem with it. Now, of course, black people, we don't own any. major media. Recently, Byron Allen had a lawsuit where he's suing because of that, because he's not allowed to really get into the big media game. You had the issue with Bill Cosby not being allowed to buy NBC, all of those different things. So of course you have certain people perpetuating the negative stereotype of black women. But the problem is when you have all of that going on television, you have a situation where life starts to imitate art. So you see young girls look up to these characters and these portrayals of black women and start to believe that that's the way they should behave. And that's the biggest problem I have with it. I'm sitting there looking at it like, wow, if I see a show that I know is scripted, that I know for a fact is scripted, because with the love and hip hop thing, I actually know people who are involved with that, and they have said outright that the majority of those fights are scripted. And I said, you know what, that is a shame, because little young girls who may not have the privilege of being in a household with parents that are going to make sure that they don't behave a certain way, they're going to look at that as an example. Because a lot of us grew up like that. Even though we had parents in our household, there were certain people we looked at that we looked up to. When I was younger, I looked up to certain individuals on television. Fortunately for me, I had just as there was just as many negative examples. I had examples like the Cosby Show, A Different World,
Right.
different things like that. Even Philip Banks on The Fresh Prince, James Avery. So we had examples of men to look up to, even if we didn't have one in the home. And that's the sad part. Like nowadays, you have these examples, and it's like you be hard pressed to find in this day and age a Claire Huxtable or Florida Evans. That's the sad part, man.
Yeah, well, see, I also see that agenda, that whoredom. I call it the whoredom agenda, and that whoredom is everywhere, because now, like you were saying, basically whoredom is winning, and women who are trying to do the right thing, they losing. Because you have Kim Kardashian, she got out there and she is the lead in the whoredom, right? And then that clan been running the game for a minute now.
Yeah.
It ain't been a black chick. Black chicks try to keep up with them a little bit, your Black Chinas of the world and all them other ones that come along, but they don't let them scale up to where they scale up to. They knock them down pretty quick, as we can see with that situation. But you're right. Our little girls or even young women emulating the Kardashians or any of those women, because now I hate to see strippers winning. Like, why is the strippers winning? And then this one goes back to the dudes. When you got dudes like Kanye West marrying the whore of California, you made 2 children with this whore. I don't care. I'm calling it what it is. She laid down with every black man in California and probably New York, and you go kiss her in the mouth?
Yeah, he
I remember as black men, we used to say, don't kiss her in the mouth, just smash on her. That's it. And you definitely don't call her no girl, and you don't wife her up. And he wifed this chick up, and dudes these days are booed up and happy with strippers.
Yeah.
That's why I say something's wrong with us, because in the community we set the standard too. If we're allowing whoredom to win and we marrying them chicks, like, what kind of example are we actually setting too? I guess the women, I don't know myself, so I'm a whore now too.
Oh yeah, well I've said it numerous times on my channel. It's our fault. We're, as men, we're supposed to be the leaders of the community, and right now you got an army of dudes who just go about things the wrong way. They don't have any accountability. They don't expect any accountability. They just pretty much just going through the motions. That's part of the reason why. And there's been numerous times, on my channel, I've went in on brothers. We call them Dirty Dick Rodney, but the only time that I'm ever criticized critically is when I start talking about, things like that. you know, and the Kardashians, man. I've had to talk about that so many times. Like that to me, I'm still wondering how that's even a popular show. Like it's so ridiculous. Like if you sit back and watch it one day and you just like, wow, why is this a show? Like I'm convinced that reality TV, the whole concept of reality TV has truly messed up this country, you know. But
But if you study the Kardashians and Kris Jenner, because I studied her very well.
hmm
That chick, it plays plays a lot of chess moves in what she do with her daughters. But she understood, if I want my daughters to stay on top, I gotta get my daughters with some black men. Because if Kim Kardashian fooled with white men, she wouldn't be a name.
no, she wouldn't.
Chloe, that little Kylie, you know, where she done chopped herself up and made her look. Because I remember that girl looked like before, and you look at her now. And like as brothers, we praising these females and keeping them up there, and it's like, dude, like they not gonna go out there and like if Angryman, if they try to shoot you right now, them Kardashians not gonna be out there trying to march at you.
No.
But
Well,
they probably
see,
fooling with black men maybe in the industry you knew.
they have to be with black men because they cannot. Kardashians are not top tier white women. They're not top tier white women, so they wouldn't get top tier white men. You know, and part of the reason is because they mess with brothers. The other reason is because of how many people they met. Like they're not considered top tier white women to white men. So they wouldn't be able to get white men. They have to get with brothers. And the reason why they're able to get top tier brothers is because of what we talked about earlier. Black men having low self-esteem, black men thinking it's cool to be with chicks, there's strippers and whores and things of that nature.
But I just have one question, and then, like I said, maybe we could, if you would like to, we can take some calls. But
Okay.
why is it brothers are more interested in, let's say, a chick like Kim Kardashian or other chicks of different groups who are surgically built or some kind of way resemble a black woman's look, that he'll go after her quicker? Why?
I think it's brothers trying to make themselves feel like they're able to get what white men get. You know, it's the same. It's no different than the same issue they have with buying from white folks and not buying from black folks. They want to be like I told you, man. It goes back to this programming that black people have had since slavery. You know, it's the whole concept that one, Kim Kardashian is popular. Okay. So because she's popular, black men are gonna flock to her. Oh, she's popular. I'll be popular too if I mess with her. That like it's ignorance. It's foolishness.
It got to be something, bro, because like I said, I couldn't sit up there and kiss that woman in the mouth or anything. How I look like bringing her home to my parents and saying, "Oh yeah, this is who I'm with." I can imagine what my mom would say. I mean, my dad, he probably, he'd be cool, but I probably about to get really cussed out, and he would tell me, "Why you bringing that hoe over here?"
Yeah, I couldn't. Yo, I wouldn't have been able to talk to her after I knew she was with Ray J. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, because I'm not following Ray J. Like, come on. But me personally, I couldn't be with no woman that has if the entire world has seen you have sex, I can't be with you. If the entire world has seen you butt naked, I can't be with you. That's just me. Like, I'm not gonna be with somebody that the whole world has seen you, doing every sexual act you can think of. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like, it's like back in the day, you will be walking around and somebody, you fooling with, let's say, one of the local town whore, and then everybody looking at you like, dudes keep passing by looking at you, and they look like, you with her?
Yeah.
Like, man, I know about 50 dudes that ran train on her.
Yeah.
You with her?
Yeah.
You blew it up? Like, he must not be from here. That kind of, you be trying to talk like he must not be from here.
Mm-hmm.
Women like that back at one point in time, they had to move away and start their life all over again. So nobody didn't know them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Start
they
over.
couldn't go back to their hometown because people be looking at you like, oh, I remember her, boy. She used to go behind the bleachers and
Do the
you
whole
know,
team.
yeah, the whole team.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you can call. Let me just put the number up real quick. Let me see, go up. We messing up today. We can that's the phone number. You know the drill. Make sure to press 1. You have asked a guest a question. If you're calling the guest to argue with him, then I'm gonna cut you off. We're not having him here for that. If he chooses to argue with you, that's him. But
Nah, I
I'm
ain't
not,
arguing.
because the last time we had a guest, some things I allowed I shouldn't allowed because and that's my fault. And I had to even apologize to my guests because some people want to go off on somebody about something I don't think they should go off on them about. But you can handle your own. You the last person I'm worried about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with him. I try not to show out on other people's platforms, man. That's disrespectful.
Nah, it's not disrespectful to me. Anyway, guys, that's the number. Make sure you press 1. I'll just wait till some people get in. It's how to blame men for health. I was waiting to see whenever they call in here, and I'll let you know. But yeah, man, these like I say, these dudes today they tripping hard. Like, are we actually home? It usually don't take that long.
Yeah, there's a lot there. When it comes to the whole women who behave like tramps and whores, like I've actually heard guys say, well, just smash them. Like me personally, I don't even think you should be smashing them. Even if you wrapping up with a condom, I don't just stay away. Just stay away from women like that, man.
Yeah,
It's just
I do agree. But then you pass around all these venereal diseases,
mm-hmm.
and then then you want to be like, oh well, I don't know how I got it. You'd be like Usher, like, so when did you get herpes? Before or after?
Oh my God, oh my God, that's a shame. That whole situation is, that's an easy situation to joke about, man.
I joke about it because you should know better.
Because
I mean, come on,
what was the name of that one song he had? Let It Burn.
Yeah, yeah, for real, for real.
Oh my God.
Did we? Let me see here. Okay, is that the right number? Yeah. Anyway, guys, the call-in number is on the screen. Like I said, just call in on that number. You want to talk to him and press 1. I don't. I'm just making sure everything working right tonight. All right, there we go. Now, I see this person calling. If you're trolling, because it says restricted, then I'm letting you know. All right, restricted. You on the line?
Hello?
Yes, you got a question for the guest?
Yeah. Angryman, I remember I was on your live show one time.
Uh-huh.
Why does it seem like you always go ham on your fans when like they don't donate enough?
I don't go ham on my fans when they don't donate enough. I've asked my fans to donate. Now what I do is I go ham on people who criticize my channel and tell me that I should be doing this and should be doing that, and they don't donate.
Oh, okay.
Because I've got like
All right, well,
I've got like 16,000 subscribers, and out of 16,000 subscribers, there's probably 50 people who donate.
yeah. Yeah, well, I love your show, man. I was just trying to ask.
Oh, no doubt. I appreciate it, man. You got to realize sometimes I go in on certain people who have said certain things. That doesn't mean I'm going in on everybody. I'm going in. Those people know who I'm talking
Yeah,
to.
because
All right, man. Well, thank you for calling. I don't know why he's questioning you about donations. You either donate or you're not.
Exactly. It's a donation,
Like,
which
I don't
means
get
you
it.
could give it or not give it,
Area code 864. You're on the show.
Hello, my name is Spencer Carter. I do watch your videos all the time.
Can you hear him?
I really enjoy your videos, Philip.
Yeah, I can hear him. What's going on, man?
Okay.
Yes, my name is Spencer.
Okay, you got a question for the guest, Spencer?
Carter. I like. What you said?
You got a question for the guest?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay.
Spencer,
press
you're
one.
on.
Hello, my name is Spencer Carter. I'm a popular YouTuber from Greenwood, South Carolina. I heard you talk about the advertising PR nightmare at YouTube. I'm tired of the diversity purge. It's time to end racism and restore diversity once and for all. Diversity matters at YouTube. Susan Wojcicki, the CEO, has got to go. Susan Wojcicki ruined YouTube. It's time to restore diversity. Too many innocent YouTubers have been terminated recently.
Spencer. Hold on, bro. Hold on. It sounds like you making a video. You got a question for the guest?
He's on a
Angry
mission.
Man.
Yeah.
I saw you and Philip talking about the advertising PR nightmare at YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I think Susan Wojcicki ruined YouTube. Susan Wojcicki needs to be fired from YouTube. It's time to restore diversity at YouTube. Too many innocent YouTubers have been purged and their channel's been terminated, like Tariq Nasheed's channel, Cynthia G's channel, and of course so many others. This has to stop. It's time to restore diversity at YouTube and end racism at YouTube once and for all. Susan Wojcicki needs to be fired or resign. Do you agree with me, Angry Man and Philip?
Well, here's the thing. I don't like what's going on YouTube as far as, shutting people's channels down just because they have an opinion. I don't agree with that. It has definitely affected me, but I don't know the ins and outs of the YouTube structure. I don't know if it's a corporation or what if it's a corporation and they can vote her out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you would actually even go about doing that, but I do agree that, we do need to have a little more protection for the actual content creators, and people shouldn't just have their channel
I
just
agree.
taken away for whatever reason.
All right, Spencer. Thank you for calling, Spencer. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Philip.
All right. Well, with the situation YouTube, yes, it's shareholders, CEO, and all the other stuff. She can be voted out. But my thing is, I don't understand their censorship because they're cutting their own money by what they're doing.
Yeah, they are.
That's
they are,
dumb to me. If I got the #1 video hosting website in the world, and I got people literally making me my money, and I just break bread with them, that's it. I mean, that's the easiest business model they have.
Yeah, well, see, the thing about it is, they're trying something, and more than likely, the problem is going to fix itself because they're going to see their bottom line. They're going to say, well, you know what, we might need to roll back, some of these situations that we're trying to play with, So who knows? Who knows, man?
Let's go to the next caller here. Area code 936, you're on the show.
Hello, sir. How y'all doing today?
Doing
good.
My question is for you, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, my question is, how are we as a black community supposed to come together as a people when we don't have men to lead them, and most of the households are led by women that are on government assistance, food stamps, and that are really focused to push the man, keep the man out the house? How are we supposed to come together when we don't have any male leaders in our household?
Well, we have to fix that by those of us who actually are older and able to give some guidance to the younger generation. We have to give guidance to the younger generation and try to build new men. But there's men out here nowadays that are set in their ways. They're not going to do too much. You might have a small percentage of them that may change their ways and turn around, but we got to reach these younger brothers, these younger teens that are growing up and going to be going out here dating and getting into relationships. We got to actually reach out to them and teach them the better way of manhood. The correct way of manhood. That's really, like, as far as I can tell, that's the only way I can see us doing anything is by reaching the next generation.
Okay. That leads to another question.
Okay.
Because I do that.
Okay.
Now, if if that's the case in point, how do we get to the younger generation when they don't even listen to the mother that's in the household raising them, much less anybody else on the street? But they always calling their mom or a family member to get them out of jail, enabling them. How do we fix this? I understand what you're saying.
Well, the only thing you can
Go ahead,
do,
sir.
the only thing you can do is teach the ones that's willing to listen. You know, the ones that's willing to listen, you can teach them. The ones that's not willing to listen, they're gonna have to learn the hard way. Because you can't force it. Unfortunately, you can't force it down their throat. If they're not willing to listen, they not gonna listen. But they will learn eventually. They're gonna learn.
All right, man. Well, thank you for
Yes,
calling the show. Okay, let's get somebody else. People waiting. Area code 845. You on the show?
Hello.
Yes, you on the show. You got a question for the guest?
You can hear me, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Oh, okay. I'm a big fan of you, the Advice Show. I called you last time. You might not remember me. My name is McCourtney Heiner. I just want to say is thank you for your advice on on your videos and stuff like that. And you always give your opinion on sorry, I'm a little nervous. You know what I mean? Sorry about that. You're always giving out advice. I always call you common sense. So you're always giving everybody what to do and not to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate that. You have a question for the guest?
Yes, and I got one question. Like I don't get why a lot of guys tack on females. You know what I mean? Because I ain't got raised by my dad. I got raised by my mom. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And my mom's always telling me what to keep my head up and do everything nice, and I always do what I gotta do. I always pay my rent and all that stuff. I just don't get why why guys hate on women so much, black women.
Well,
That just boggles my mind.
Well, it depends on which particular man you're talking about, because there are some brothers who dislike black women because of their experiences with black women. We call that mode 4 red pill raging. It's when a dude has been in a relationship with black women or been rejected by black women, and it ultimately gives them like this sort of hatred towards black women. You have that category of men, but then at the same time you have categories of men who are critical of black women, and they kind of get thrown into the same bunch with the others. You know what I'm saying? But you may have been one of the brothers who was fortunate, though, even though you grew up in a single mother household, you may have been fortunate enough to have a good mother who didn't you may have been fortunate enough to have a mother who didn't, emasculate you or do any of the things that some of the other brothers have experienced that would make them go off the way they go off.
Mhm. And I just got one more thing, and then I don't want to eat up the time. Advice Show Media. Thank you, brother. What's your name again?
You been watching me all this time and you don't know my name?
No, the other guy. I heard the other guy.
Angryman.
Sorry, I'm not next to my laptop. That's why I can't see the guy's name. But Advice Show Media. What's your favorite superhero? I tried to ask you that a long time ago, man.
My favorite superhero?
Yeah.
I don't really have a favorite.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I mean, I like superheroes. I like a bunch of them. I like a bunch of superheroes. Don't get me wrong, I do. I mean, but it just depends on what I'm watching at the time. But I'm going to see Black Panther.
Yeah,
Is that what you want to know?
Yeah, I'm going to see that joint too.
But superheroes changed my life, and my uncle didn't brought me to superheroes. My life had been different. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? May the
That's all I
Lord
gotta
bless
say,
your
man.
uncle, because your life is different. May bless your life. And I'm going to have to go to the next caller. Oh, boy. Superheroes.
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite.
All right, a person, you're offline.
Okay.
You're on the show, but you got to mute the channel.
I like a bunch of them. I like a bunch of superheroes. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
I do.
I want to hear myself. I can do that on my own. Eric 407, you on the show. 4-7. All right, I ain't got time to eat, breathe. No. Oh no. We ain't got that kind of time. Area code 772, you on the show.
Hey, how you doing, Phil?
I'm doing good. You got a question for the guest?
Yes, I do. Hey, what are your thoughts on, men who are trying to, build happy lives, even if the possibility of a relationship with a woman may not occur to them at some point, especially a black lady?
You mean what is my opinion on dudes seeking relationships outside of black women? Is that what you're asking me?
No. I'm saying who are trying to make themselves happy.
Oh, I'm all for it. Men are allowed to be happy just like women are allowed to be happy. Um, I have to go back and forth a lot of times with MGTOWs and dudes who are pretty much given up on marriage and relationships. But I'm a traditional dude. I believe that men can still be happy and in relationships. And I noticed there was one person in the chat room that said I was describing myself in that last answer. I actually wasn't, because I'm in a relationship with a black woman. So I'm not one of those dudes that hates women and has a vendetta against them. But I'm all for, men building happiness.
Yeah, I'm just saying men who are single who are happily that way, but at some point a special woman might change his mind and
Well, yeah, that's
and
the way.
I'm all for it.
Well, yeah, that's the natural. You know what? The funny thing is, what you just described, that is the way it's supposed to be naturally. When you're a teenager and you get out of school, if you go to college or don't go to college, you're supposed to be happy single and build your life. Get a place, live on your own. And then if a woman comes along that you click with, then you start the dating process. That's the natural way of things.
All right, man. Well, definitely appreciate you calling the show. Let me see here. This person here, let's get to. Got some calls in there, Angry Man. Area code 347, you on the show.
Hey, Phil, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind?
When I was growing up, this question's for both of y'all. When I was growing up, I was always told by the OGs, you don't never date a woman with children because you don't take care of another man's children. What do you think about today's brothers taking care of women with multiple children? Like, I just got out of a relationship maybe 2 months ago with a woman with 4 children, 4 different baby daddies, and it put this anger in me, and this anger and this bitterness I've had, especially toward black women, just making me angry. And I want to know, what do you think about, a lot of brothers going against that code, and should a man date a woman with children if he doesn't have to?
If you can avoid it, I would say avoid it, especially if it's with a woman who has multiple children by multiple dudes. If you can avoid it, avoid it. Now, if you're a dude who gets into a relationship with a woman who has 1 child or 2 children, and that's from a previous marriage, and they're no longer, it's gonna depend on the situation. There's no cut and dry, this is what you do or this is what you do, because every situation is different. You know what I'm saying? Every situation is different. There are some women out there who are single moms, but they're not horrible women. And in this day and age, it's going to be extremely difficult, unfortunately, in the black community to come across a woman who isn't a single mom. So it boils down to the situation. And if you were in a relationship with a woman and she had 4 kids by 4 different dudes and she put you through some bullshit or whatever, it's jacked up. But at some point, you just gotta move on from it, bro.
Hey, I got a question before I answer. Do you have any children?
No, sir.
Oh,
27 to be 28 this Friday.
Oh, boy.
No children.
Okay. Well, let me answer your original question, and then I'll get to you. If you have no children, then you have every right to say, I don't want to date a woman with children. If you have children, then you have no right to say that. That's just my opinion.
Basically, yeah.
Because they got some dudes that got 3-4 kids, but then be railing on another one. I don't want no woman with no kids. Well, dude, you got kids. She got to put with your baby mamas too.
Yeah.
And they nasty attitude if they have it. So shut up. Okay. Yeah. Now let's deal with you. Let's break you down. You say you was angry. Who you was angry with, bruh?
I was angry with her. Like,
for what?
It got to the point.
Hold on. Why were you angry with her?
Because there was too much confusion. And you know what? I'm gonna keep 100 with you. You know why I stayed around for so long, Phil? Because the brother was single for so long and didn't.
Okay, so
you would.
So
I'm not saying
wait a minute.
Saying I'm a lame dude and I don't get a
Okay, that's an issue you need to fix. So you was desperate to be with a woman so bad that you deal with 4 children from 4 different men and all her drama and problems. Do they have other women in your city outside that one female?
Yeah, plenty of them.
Okay, hold up. Okay, now hold on.
I don't have a problem finding women. It's the right woman.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So you dealt with that, and you felt that drama was the right drama for you, and you say you were angry. You should have been angry at yourself because you chose that problem.
Yeah, you didn't. If you knew off the rip that she had 4 children by 4 different dudes, you didn't have to talk to her, brother. You could have moved on.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, y'all dudes got to stop that stuff, man. Stop being all desperate. It's too easy these days to get women. It's crazy. Like, I was talking to my homeboy. He's single, and women jump in his inbox. Women are doing that these days. You ain't got to jump in theirs. I mean, it's crazy how the game is now with women. And you mean to tell me you can't talk to one? I mean, shoot, take them to Starbucks. Meet about 30 of them in a week if you want to. Don't mean you got to sleep with them. Take them to Starbucks. Get a $4-5 coffee. You're not spending that much. Because if that kind of female don't want to go to Starbucks with you, then you don't need to be going out with her no way. Forget that the $100 date night stuff. Forget that, because that chick may get on your nerves in 2 minutes.
Right.
I've dealt with that before. Like, oh Lord, this woman get on my nerves. Man, I need to get out of here.
I
had a woman told me,
Phil, I don't mean to excuse me for 1 second. I gotta address one of your moderators. She keeps going in on this whole hate thing, talking about there's a lot of men with women that they hate. Okay, first of all, I'm engaged to my woman. We've been together 10 years. I'm not going to be with somebody 10 years that I hate. I'm definitely not going to go out and buy a diamond ring that costs thousands of dollars to give to somebody I hate. I'm not going to buy Tiffany jewelry for somebody I hate. Okay, so let's just go ahead and clear that up.
All right, I don't know who he was talking to, but I guess he cleared that up. But young brother, brothers gotta stop that stuff. Brother, how do you let me ask you a question. How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel great about yourself just every day? Like when you look in the mirror, are you happy with what you look at?
When I was with her, about myself.
It has nothing to do with her. You, when you wake up in the morning, you wake up, you go piss, you go look at yourself in the mirror to brush your teeth, whatever. How do you feel about yourself when you look at yourself?
Like, what am I doing? Like, I fell off, especially when it comes to females.
Forget females. Females ain't got nothing to do with this.
We're talking about you. Define yourself by women, man. You have to, brother. You have to define your manhood. See, this is a problem with a lot of young black men. A lot of times we define our value by the women we get or how many women we can get or how many women we can smash. No, you have to define your manhood by what it means to be a man. And you got to go on that journey. If I was you, brother, I would stay single for the next couple years. I wouldn't talk to no women. If I was you, I'd just stay single for the next couple years and figure out. You know, I would ask myself the question, what does it mean to be a man? And if I couldn't answer that question, I would go on a journey to figure out the answer to that question. That's what I would do, brother. I wouldn't even get, because you got to understand, if you're not a well-rounded, solid man, you can't really be in a relationship with a woman.
Right. I agree with that. Do you have a job?
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it a job you like? Is it paid pretty good?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, that's another thing you'll need to do. When you broke, you don't even be in a relationship with no women anyway.
Hell no. Can't be.
I'm just being honest with you.
Hell
You
no.
don't be in a relationship with a woman when you're broke,
keep it
because
100.
let's say if you get in a relationship and this woman got more finance than you, then I don't know what it is about women when they make more than you in that sense, and you can't say, I don't need her for nothing. She'll be nice to you and give you stuff because you broke at the time period.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment you step out of pocket 2 seconds, she gonna tell you about every phone she gave you, every morsel of food, any clothes, the car she paid for you, all that stuff. So you know, Angry Man's right. You need to chill your hot nerves.
No, I said it's a job that I don't like.
Yeah, but you say you're not making no money, brother.
It'll pay sucks.
Huh?
I'm making bread, but not as much as I should, though.
Well, you know,
you making close to 6 figures?
Nah, nowhere near that.
Okay, well then you need to get your money game up, brother. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta like, you know, here's the thing that I did, you know, when I was younger. I figured out what it was that, you know, I like, the things that I enjoy, the things that I want to do. Like, I know how to be alone if I gotta be alone. A lot of brothers don't know how to do that.
Right.
Unfortunately. Like, I know how to be alone if I want. Like, now, you know, I'm in a relationship. I've been in a relationship for about 10 years now. And the only reason why me and this person can be in this relationship this long is because we have a life together, but she has her life and I have my life. She has things she likes to do and I have things that I like to do. You feel what I'm saying? So we don't get on each other's nerves because we busy doing shit. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be a whole person before you get with somebody else. You know, and if you sit back and you look in the mirror and you say, well, you know, I got a job and I'm making money, but it's not what I should be making. Well, if you know that it ain't what you should be making, then you know your value and you need to go out and get your value. And I'm not telling you to quit your job by no stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying, you know, go ahead and start making the steps to get what you know that you're worth. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
All right, young brother, young brother, just please, you do anything else, don't you dare call my show again and say you was dating some woman with 4 kids, 5 kids, and don't you dare tell me you got her pregnant, because then I'm not gonna be nice to you. I'm gonna go to hell off on you. Because I'm so sick and tired of these black men getting with these females with no kids at all. You have none. Get her pregnant. Now you about to deal with the problems. So I'm just saying, because I love y'all. That's why I say it. I don't say it because of love, brother. Ain't no hate.
Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Take care of yourself.
I know.
All right, now.
man, some of these young brothers, man. But you know where a lot of that comes from? And I forgot to ask. You know what? What was his number? That's his number. Young brother, you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, did you grow up in a single parent household?
Yeah.
I knew he didn't answer me real quick what the answer was. Okay, that's what it was. Because when your dad's around, your dad would not let you do that crap. Man, my dad would check me at a grown age for that kind of crap. You know.
And I spoke with him about that. He was like, leave. He's like, what are you doing with that?
Exactly. That's why we got to encourage, even if the mom and dad not together, we have to encourage the relationship with the father. Okay. Because our fathers know the pitfalls, because they was ahead of us with racism, with relationships, with just being a black man in America, because that's like an experience in itself. Okay. So I just had to chime you in to know that, because it just proves the point. But thank you for calling, brother. You see that the single parent household is hurting our brothers.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
And then the mama would tell you, oh, you just treat women nice and just pick a good girl and it don't matter about her situation. You know what I'm saying? And then now you get in the situations because mama told you. And nothing against mama. She just,
No, she just wants him to be a good person. That's all. She's not gonna, she's not gonna look at it from the standpoint that the father would look at it,
And sometimes mama, when she have bad relationships with men, she'll try to mold that son into the man she wanted.
Yep.
And then he gonna be screwed up because that's the man she wanted, and he gonna be released into the world, and then he gonna be unhappy and screwed up too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's issues that black men are dealing with as well.
Oh yeah.
But people don't want to, hear black men, talk about these issues that we're having and having real world consequences. Okay, Eric 313 on the show.
Okay, Eric 313 on the show.
Really?
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If I answer the call and it says unmuted, please turn it down. Thank you. Let's see here. We don't want to keep Angryman too much longer. I know he got to go. We'll take one more call because I know this man got other things to do. Eric 312, you on the show?
Hi, good evening, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
We're doing good.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What I wanted to say is I'm originally from Ohio, but I live in Chicago now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a question which is about black men, and it is most of my friends are male. I'm not involved with them, we're just friends.
Okay.
But two of them say that they want a certain type of woman. However, they always judge women by how many children she has. And they're saying she likes sex better because she has so many children. And then they get involved with the young lady and they have a lot of drama. And I tell them, I said, well, you don't have to be involved with all that drama. And they all have kids. And also, my next question, why do men do that? And then my next question is, or the statement is, if you go back in their history, they were raised by single women also. I was a single woman. I was married though. And he didn't have to take care of kids, but he's deceased now for medical reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I had really good parents, luckily for me, and I tried to raise my kids. They're pretty good. They go to school, do good grades, they stand up opposite, respectful. However, I know one friend who was very, for lack of a better word, he's very hoarse. I think they both were. And their mothers, I could tell because they had some slightly effeminate ways because a man is a man and a woman is a woman. And I feel that a man should raise a man in a lot of ways. But you can tell they're trying to be men, but the things that they do in the judgments they make it's not right, it's messed up. So why do men sometimes say that they want a certain woman, but they seem to like all that drama? And it's always sexual about how the woman looks and what they think they can get. And what is that?
It's low self-esteem. It's low self-esteem. It's what we were what we were just addressing with the young man earlier. Where he was talking about being in a relationship with a woman with 4 children by 4 different dudes. And it really boils down to there's a lot of dudes with such low self-esteem that they'll get with women that are not good women because a lot of times women who are not good women, they're an easy lay. It's easy for them to get, sexual favors from them. And what happens is they use the fact that they got a sexual favor from them as gratification to make them feel better about themselves. It's low self-esteem. So this is why you'll see brothers who may say, oh, well, I want a good woman or whatever, but then they'll mess around and get with a stripper or get with a woman that everybody has been with. It's because, there's a lot of brothers that don't want to compete. They don't want to compete for quality women because they know the quality women expect something of them, So that's where that's coming from. The other question,
I agree with that.
Huh?
I said I agree with that.
The other question that you had, I didn't really hear it that clearly. I heard like some of it towards the end. I think you were saying that there are a lot of men who act effeminate. Is that what you were saying? Where does that come from?
Yes.
In my opinion,
Yes.
I feel like nowadays there's more of a disconnect when it comes to male leadership. So, whereas if you went back in the 80s, you may have had single mothers, but regardless of if they were single mothers or not, those mothers back then were a lot harsher as far as discipline. Those mothers back then, they allowed the men in their family to also discipline that child. So even if she wasn't in a relationship with a man, there was still a lot of men in the family that these brothers could pull from to get, male guidance. But nowadays, it's like the land of the lost because uh you don't have a lot of men who behave like men, for these younger brothers to look at and say, oh, that's what a man is supposed to behave like, or that's what a man is supposed to act like, because we're probably into the third or fourth generation of single mothers, of it being a large thing that happens in the community. So you have a lot of men that are in families now that are already effeminate, so they don't have any examples.
Yeah. Thanks for that because I'm saying this because they're all generations. My oldest friend is in his 60s. The next one is 50s. The youngest one's in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my 50s now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see because the one in the 60s is like real stable. Has a disabled daughter, takes care of her, raises her, really good job. And the one in the 50s, he's in the middle somewhere.
Yep.
But he was very just wow. He has different kids, different mothers, and then we got the youngest one, and he has children by all these different women. And then the youngest one has 2 kids, but by 2 different women, and he's very wild with women and stuff too. So, yeah, I agree with it because you can tell their mothers. There's different raising issues that when they're talking to me, I can hear them say how they were raised. So yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate that. You're right on the head on that one.
Sure. Yeah. It boils down to the examples because children, you can teach children all day long, but the biggest thing they're going to learn from is what they see. So if a lot of the older brothers in the older generations, the 50-year-old men and stuff, they saw men, so they know, okay, this is how I'm supposed to act. But nowadays, you don't see men act like men. That's why on my channel, I try my best, to explain to young brothers, this is the way men are supposed to behave and this is the way they're not supposed to behave,
All right. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good evening. Thanks a lot.
All right,
You
thank
too.
you, Susan, for calling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely want to thank you for the people that have called the show because, like I said, can't keep the angry man on the line all night. But tell people how to get to your channel, Angry Man, so they can go over there and subscribe.
Okay, well, all you guys have to do is go to theangrymanchannel.com. From there, you can get all of my content. You can actually Google me. You can Google Angry Man Channel. I'll come up. All of my information will come up. You can follow me on all social media at Angry Man Channel. But other than that, you can pretty much find me on YouTube every day. All you gotta do is put Angry Man Channel in the search bar. Everything will come up.
All right, so we'll make sure to put in the pinned comment once it gets processed, the link to his channel. So make sure to go subscribe, see his other channels. I don't know if you got multiple channels or not. Sometimes I keep multiple channels. I'm pretty sure everybody else do. Check out his videos, and if you're the type of person that don't want to pay $2.99, don't get upset. Just watch the free stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, what's somebody to say if I get out of here? Okay, I don't know why y'all saying that. I will invite a whole lot of different guests on my show, first and foremost. And whether you disagree with Angry Man or not, he is my brother. And what did I tell y'all? We have to unify. Okay? And unification is having conversations. So we have to do that. And we not Hollywood over here. We want to push that much as possible. So, Angryman, thank you for joining us on the show today. And man, good luck with your channel and all other business ventures that you have going on.
Hey, brother, I appreciate you having me on the show. I appreciate your audience being cordial. You know, sometimes that don't happen on other channels, but but I appreciate it, brother, and much success to you and your channel, brother.
All right, thank you for joining us.